Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Terror Time Tea. I have watermelon tea today in my special skull teacup. Can you see the skull? Hey, Darren. And I'm having a little sinus trouble, so this tea is helping me with that. I had planned to have some um, cherry almond scones, or however you pronounce it, today, and wasn't feeling too good last night, and so did not get to make those. So stay tuned. Hopefully, I will be able to have them tomorrow or tomorrow. Good gracious. Next week, next Friday, with some clotted cream because I'm going to make some more clotted cream because I just really love that stuff. I'd never had it before starting these Terror Time teas. Um, so the two movies we're going to be talking about today are I don't know how many of you are familiar with this little known gem, Invasion of the Blood Farmers. We're going to be talking about that one. And we're going to be talking about the Trauma exploitation horror classic Mother's Day, which I believe is Eli Roth's favorite uh, horror film. So we're just going to kick this off with the Invasion of the Blood Farmers. And of course, I'm going to be using the Deadites rating scale today in order to rate both of these movies. Oh, and before I forget, I want to remind everybody in a little less than an hour, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Candace and I will be back on with Friday Foolish. I have my shirt on. I shouldn't have wore it early, but I don't think Candace will really mind. But we should both be wearing our shirts for the Friday Foolish episode because I mailed Candace's off to her and she received it and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, we're going to be talking about clowns in horror movies too. So, be sure to tune in for that if you're not too afraid of clowns. So moving on to Invasion of the Blood Farmers. I can tell you the first time I saw this with my cousin Jed, and there was a character named Jim Carrey. Everybody was looking for Jim Carrey in this movie. And we laughed because we were thinking, the actor and comedian Jim Carrey, and they just kept saying, yeah, they'd go into a bar and they'd say, hey, have you guys seen Jim Carrey? I ain't seen him since last week or whatever. And it kind of reminded me, and I'm not trying to be offensive to my little small hometown, but it sounded like how people would talk in my uh little hometown, I ain't seen so and so in a month, or I saw him last week, but I haven't seen him for a while. Sorry about the barking of the dogs and stuff. Actually, I'm gonna go and slide this barn door closed. Oh, Sammy, enough! I swear, when Sammy gets started, he will go on forever and ever. Now, Darren, you say not seen Blood Farmers, but Mother's Day is a classic, probably the best trauma movie in my opinion. I would have it way up there too, Darren. But I think you would probably get some enjoyment out of Invasion of the Blood Farmers. So let's give a little plot breakdown, plot synopsis for this. It's referred to as a 70s grindhouse classic. I don't know if I would call it that, but it definitely is a lot of fun. So in 1972, there was a team of New York City exploitation outlaws that included Ed Adlam, who did Shriek of the Mutilated, uh, Ed Kelleher, Prime Evil, and Michael and Roberta Finley, who did The Touch of Her Flesh, Snuff, and a lot of other crazy films. Along with first time assistant cameraman and future award winning cinematographer Frederick Elms, who did Eraserhead and Blue Velvet. Descended on bucolic Westchester County with 8.5 bottles of stage blood to make a movie about, get this, a druid cult seeking to resurrect their dead queen. They had a budget of $24,000. The cast was paid not in money, but paid in beer. And the result remains one of the greatest achievements in shock cinema history. So I can't talk. Severin Films presented this accidental masterpiece like you've never seen it before, now scanned from the original negative for the first time ever and spurting with all new special features. Yeah, I don't know if it really needed to be rescanned or anything like that, but it's still a fun little piece of schlock. Basically, that's what it is. Hey, Chris, schlock is definitely what this is. Exploitation, this is what it is. A great piece of cinema? No. But I have a lot of fun with this one. I always laugh when I watch it. And Steve said, for the love of God, why did you get this on Blu-ray? Well, because I could, right? You know, I'm not telling everybody else to go out and get it on Blu-ray or to spend any money on it. Definitely try to find a for free version of Invasion of the Blood Farmers if you've not seen it before. I think this crowd that comes into my streams would appreciate this film. Otherwise, I wouldn't be recommending it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it on my movie shelf. Rock, Shock, and Pop refer to this as a complete whack job of a film, and I would probably have to agree with that. A mind-numbingly bizarre attempt at low-budget horror that's always entertaining and absolutely worth seeing, and I would also agree with that as well. So you have a fair amount of blood. Remember, they had 8.5 bottles of stage blood to use, and I think they used every damn one of those 8.5 bottles in this film. You have outrageous characters in this. You have outrageous things going on in this film. Some of the things that make you want to rewind it back and say, did I just see what I thought I saw in this? And you know, just the people that I read off, anything that Michael and Roberta Finley were attached to, you know that it was going to be crazy, off the wall, exploitation out the wazoo. So, and then you have these, you have Ed Adlam who did Shriek of the Mutilated. And then you have an award-winning cinematographer who was getting his feet wet. This guy went on to do Eraserhead and Blue Velvet. So there you go. Hey, Blissful. I see Blissful has switched out her profile pic to one of the ones that I did with AI for her. So that is really cool. Chris, you say Steve's negative reactions to movie purchases has become a character in itself at this point. You know, I should do a whole stream about movies that Steve had negative reactions to me buying them. That would be a lot of movies, probably. But you say you love it, Blissful. Well, I'm glad, because I was really happy with how those AIs turned out. The thing about AI, I don't know how many of you have jumped into the pool of AI recently, but AI is becoming more and more popular, and I know there are some artists that just hate AI, and they think it's not real art, and they think it's taking away money and food out of the mouths of real artists. But let me tell you something. if you can afford to have an artist, pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars to create something for you, then I say more power to you. Go for it. But on the other hand, if you're like me, and Candace and I have discussed this too, if you're like me, you can't really afford that. So I have to go out and do stuff on my own. And to escape the clutches of copyright claims, a lot of times you have to kind of digitally make your own stuff or digitally manipulate a photo or character or whatever in such a way that you can be able to utilize it. And so that's what I've been doing. And you have to get precise. If you want the AI to turn into something that you can actually use, you have to get real precise in your description of what you want. So it is kind of an art form in and of itself. Yes, Darren, Steve did buy the Emmanuel box set. Yeah, I'm never going to let him live that one down, but he loves him some Emmanuel. Okay. So, again, I'm not going to go on and on about these movies, but this movie is a hell of a lot of fun. I would recommend it. Don't go out and buy it. Don't spend your hard-earned money at Severn getting this Blu-ray. Find it for free first, or find a friend that you can borrow this off of, if somebody you know has it, and make the decision for yourself, because I'm only on here to suggest things. I'm not telling anybody that they definitely 100% should go out and buy something. I'm not being sponsored by these companies. They're not sending me jack free. So this is purely my own opinion on these movies. All right, so let's give this a rating, okay? And keep in mind that I am giving this rating based on entertainment value, basically, okay? Not that it's a classic film. So I'm going to give it 4 Deadites out of 5 just for the sheer entertainment value of Invasion of the Blood Farmers. If you don't have fun with this one, I might have to eat my words or eat my hat or whatever. But I just think that most everybody that are in these circles will enjoy it, at least to some extent. So that is Invasion of the Blood Farmers. All right, so the second one is the Immortal Mother's Day, put out by Troma. And Mama says, I'm so proud of my boys. They never forget their mama. And look what kind of boy she has there. Isn't that just crazy? Charles Kaufman directed this, who is Lloyd Kaufman's brother. And I believe Charles Kaufman owns like a bagel and donut shop now. So I always loved this cover art for this, of the head that's in the gift box. And you want to talk about a crazy old bat. This woman, yeah, it starts out, this movie starts out, and it's like I don't know if anybody has heard of Est, but it was something back probably in the late 70s and into the early 80s, where basically you're called scumbags and stuff like that. It sort of sounds like Scientology. Not trying to offend anybody, but they berate you, and you pay somebody to berate you for, I don't know, 3 days a week or whatever. And it's supposed to make you a better human being. Yes, I am glad it is Friday, Wes. I definitely am glad it's Friday. Hey, Ben. Ben said, love Mother's Day, but but it does make you feel like you need a shower after watching it. It is very greasy. I would agree with that. So this old lady, who is in this EST training, and it's the last day of training, and there's these two, pretty shady looking people, in the training as well, and they're planning on, I guess, killing this old woman or beating her up and attacking her and leaving her for dead and taking her car and any money she might have. So they ask if they can get a ride with her, not knowing what kind of person she is. And she basically has her sons show up and kill the two. And then we switch gears and we see uh, three girls who were college roommates. And now their lives didn't quite turn out like they wanted them to after college. So one of the girls has a mother who berates her, who verbally abuses her, emotionally abuses her, all of that, and constantly is telling her, "I'm a sick woman. Why won't you help me?" And her daughter does everything that she can for her. So we have, two different mothers. We have the batshit crazy mother to these two batshit crazy sons, and you have another mother who abuses her daughter on a daily basis. Um, Where'd she say, "Hey, Dana, here's an idea for these shows in the future. Would be interesting if you reviewed one movie from her collection you had never watched. First time watch Friday? Holla." Yeah, I mean, that is an interesting idea. Now, um, are you talking about for the Terror Time tea, I'm assuming? Or are you talking about the Friday Foolish I'm doing with Candace? Because I would be open for it either way. But, so every year, these three college roommates go somewhere of one of them's choosing. And the main girl, who lives in New York and is shacking up with the guy that was doing the EST training, it's her year to pick the location. So she's picked a nice, she thinks, secluded, wooded location for them to do a little camping. Okay. So she blindfolds and or puts bags over the girls' heads so they don't know exactly where they're going. I thought that was a little weird, but whatever somebody wants to do. Um, but they run afoul of these two crazy brothers, and they bring these girls home to mama. They basically put them in burlap sacks, throw them over their shoulders, and take them home to mama. And then they do this weird, uh, like they're doing theater or something. Only basically they're beating and raping and doing all kinds of horrible things to the main girl, while mama watches, and then mama claps and all this stuff, and you're thinking, what in the hell am I watching? This is definitely another one that you would rewind it back to see, did I just see what I thought I saw? Okay. But keep in mind, it is a trauma film as well. Um, and so one of the girls ends up dying. The main girl ends up dying. And the other two girls uh, want revenge. So they end up taking revenge on the two boys, or two brothers, and their mama, including suffocation by a sex toy. I kid you not. That is in this film. Okay. Um, We have somebody getting a television cracked on their head. We have one of the brothers gets a Drano poured in their mouth, and it's fizzing and stuff like that. I always called that the Drano milkshake. Um, and we also have an extra added bonus. Um, the only thing Mama is scared of is her sister Queenie, who she said was evil from the day she was born. So the very last scene of the movie, we've only heard about Queenie. And Mama always talks about, oh, I know Queenie's not dead. I know Queenie's out in the woods. She's waiting to attack me. Okay. So at the very end of the movie, we see Queenie jumping out of the woods. And how do we know it's Queenie? Because she's missing an ear. And Mama had told the story earlier about how Queenie had her ear cut off. So, yeah, I tell you, this movie is very grimy, very greasy. I agree totally with Ben that you feel like you need to take a shower after you see it. You definitely do. And it's trauma, so it's going to have a lot of crazy ass shit in it. And believe it or not, I heard that, I don't know if you can see that guy there, the guy who looks like he's missing a tooth or one of his teeth is black. The blonde in this movie, who is very attractive, I think I don't know if him and her ever got married, but I think they had a relationship. I think they were dating or something at the time that this movie came out. So I'm sure that this guy looked normal, but it's just so weird thinking of one of these guys that abused them in this film. They had one of the girls had a relationship with them. Would you say either one, but for the solo shows, it would make more sense. I think so too. And Darren, you say, Dana, you should do a poll of films you haven't seen so people can pick. Just an idea. That's a very good idea, Darren. Yeah, Wes, you're right. That guy did turn into a successful actor. He most certainly did. And you know how I said it was Eli Roth's favorite horror film? There's a quote from Eli Roth right there that says my favorite horror film. Okay, so yeah, I agree with Blissful. Those are both awesome ideas, and I do definitely want to incorporate those into the Terror Time tea. As soon as I get my button gear and decide what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to shut this door just a little bit because it's almost too bright in here. All right. Well, I didn't say anybody gave an F what Eli says, Wes. It's just I did think that he said that was his favorite horror film. So, what do I give this lovely film? And again, keep in mind that this is mainly entertainment value and the sheer audacity of the stuff. And do keep in mind, again, this is a trauma film. I'm also going to give this one 4 Deadites out of 5 just for sheer entertainment value. This is not a great piece of cinema. This is low budget, dirt cheap filmmaking at its finest. I will say that. And be sure to take a shower after you watch this. So I'm also, just a reminder, I've also changed things up a bit. And so Saturday's watch along will not be for The Fury, but in honor of the impending Mother's Day holiday on Sunday, we will be watching Mother's Day. So be sure to tune in for that. Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield and Keith Gordon will be Sunday's watch along. And also, there will be the return of the movie Munchies this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where I'm going to be making Norma Bates homemade cinnamon rolls, inspired by a recipe that my mom came up with completely on her own and made for our family for years. And in fact, I think she still makes these for her and my dad. And they are absolutely delicious. I think it's going to make you guys and gals want to go out and make your own cinnamon rolls. And hopefully, we have a lot of fun on that edition of Movie Munchies. Okay, so in a little over 30 minutes, I will be back with Candace for Friday Foolish at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will be talking about clowns in horror films. So be sure to tune in to that. And I'm out of here for now. I want to remind everybody to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. See you next time, folks.